You've probably heard that something like 1 in 5 businesses fail in their first year after opening here in the US. But what exactly does that mean? What does it mean for a business to fail? Well, in short, it means that the business runs out of money. That might make you think that if you want to make sure your business succeeds, what you really need to do is find a business with a high profit margin, a business that makes a lot of money for every sale that it makes. So you might do something like Google what businesses have the highest profit margin. But that can lead you astray because there are businesses that have crazy high profit margins but still have high rates of failure because they're in risky industries where the demand isn't consistent and maybe they have to have a really big investment up front and they risk losing all of that capital that they invest. And no, I'm not going to tell you to go buy a car washer or dry cleaner. So what do you need to look at? Well, let's start out by looking at a business that has a really low profit margin but still has a really high success rate, really low failure rate, so you can see what a real world example of this looks like. So the business I have in mind is gas stations, and honestly it's a little bit of a controversial pick as far as businesses that don't fail because like I said, they've got really low profit margins, typically only around 2% on the gas that they sell. So you may be wondering, well, how do they make money then? It all happens in the convenience store. In the convenience store, the items are marked up 1 to 200%, and so that's how they make their profits. But how do they stay in business and why do they have such a low failure rate? Well, that's because having transportation is one of those things that people continue to need whether the economy is good or the economy is bad. People keep coming to the gas stations to buy the gas, and when they come, they inevitably seem to keep buying those overpriced candy bars. But hey, I know the chances of you starting a gas station are probably pretty slim. They require a really big investment or a really big loan to start up, and running a gas station might not be what you're the most passionate about. So let's move on to the next highly successful business idea that I think a lot more of you may be interested in. Okay, so now let's talk about one of my very favorite businesses, and you probably already know what it is, the digital product business. So after I sold my local business back in 2018, I really knew what I wanted when it came to a business. I wanted a business with very low risk, with very low expenses, with high profit margins, and that gave me a lot of flexibility. And after doing a lot of research, there was just no doubt at all that what I was looking for was a digital product business. Well, fast forward to today, 3 of the 4 businesses that I own are digital product businesses of different sorts. One of them sells online courses, one of them is a membership subscription service, and then one of them offers consulting and runs group programs. And they are exactly what I was looking for. Now, the beauty of the digital product business is that your costs and your expenses are so low and the initial investment is so low that there is very little risk and there are huge profit margins. So these businesses practically never fail and have incredibly high success rates. If you're interested in starting a membership site of your own, then my top recommendation would be that you use Uscreen to do it. Uscreen is totally obsessed with helping creators to build memberships that not only bring them closer to their audience and form a real community, but also enable them to build a consistent, recurring source of income separate from advertising. Because I know that relying on YouTube's advertising dollars can sometimes be a little bit of a roller coaster. Well, when you build your membership with Uscreen, they help you build a solid business that creates that consistent revenue. Uscreen makes it so easy to set up an incredibly professional and just awesome looking membership. I think that one of the things that sets Uscreen apart from most of the other types of software you might use to set up a membership or to sell an online course is that Uscreen enables you to create your own app. Let me give you a few real life examples of people who have done this with Uscreen. One of them is Adrian from Yoga with Adrian. She created this app called Find What Feels Good, and you can see here what that looks like. We've also got Art for Kids Hub and the Art of Jiu-Jitsu app, as well as Jevin Dovey of Creator Film School, who created his app with Uscreen as well. As you can see, all of these apps just look incredible and so professional. They're honestly kind of giving you that Netflix vibe, and yet they took these creators such little time to set up because Uscreen really just takes care of all of the tech of it. Uscreen has already earned creators over $150 million and enabled them to attract over 9 million users to their membership sites and apps. Now, aside from making it really easy for your users to access your membership site by having an app for the membership site, the other thing that really keeps users engaged and coming back for more to your app or to your membership over and over again is by getting them engaged in a community. Now, this is something that most membership or course softwares do not offer, but Uscreen does. You can have a built-in community in your membership site or in your app. So instead of having like a Facebook group for your course or using a Slack channel for your membership, instead you can have it right there inside the membership or inside the app, where every time your users log in, they can interact with the other users. And by forming those strong relationships, they will be super, super sticky. They won't want to leave because they will want to keep connecting with those connections that they've made. So if you are a YouTuber or a video creator and you want to set up a membership of your own, definitely reach out to Uscreen and tell them what you want to create. After one call with their team, you will have an exact step-by-step plan for how you can make this happen. They will help you figure out the estimated revenue potential for your membership site idea, and you'll also have a much more solid understanding of exactly how much time this will take to set up so that you can make a really informed decision about whether or not this is the business venture that you want to pursue. Okay, so now let's talk about retirement homes. Now, I know you're probably not going to start a retirement home yourself. It requires a really big investment of capital, just like starting a gas station would. But I think that there's a really important lesson to be learned here, something that you can take away from this that can help you to figure out whether another business idea you might be considering might be really stable long term. So think about it. Retirement homes, why are they so stable? Well, first of all, they do have a really good profit margin. Typically somewhere between 20 and 40% profit. But then the other thing is that there is a really steady stream of new customers coming in the door, especially recently. If you look at the US Census Bureau data, you can see that the baby boomers have been entering their retirement, they are entering old age, and there are more and more of them who are needing care. And in fact, the Census Bureau says that by year 2034, they will be the single largest segment of the population. So we know that a retirement home is going to be a really secure, stable business because we can look into the future, we can see those trends, we know what's coming, and so we know that there's going to continue to be demand for their services. And so that's really the sweet spot where you've got a high profit margin and you can see that there will continue to be demand. And so that's what I want you to ask yourself about any business that you are thinking about starting. What do you know about its profit margin and what do you know about the future demand? Next up is one of the oldest industries on the planet. This one has been proven by the test of time, and that is to start a real estate company. Now, of course, there's lots of different flavors and different business models when it comes to real estate. One of the most classic has got to be to buy real estate and then rent it out. Now, it's been proven to be super profitable. And of course, people continue to need housing year after year after year. So it's super, super stable. It does, or at least it can, require a fairly large investment, although nothing compared to, say, starting a gas station. But there's also some other ways that you can get into the real estate market and start profiting from a real estate business without having to have the upfront capital for a down payment for a rental. One popular option is REITs and crowd-funded real estate. So this is where you can get a little piece of the action by investing some money along with a whole bunch of other folks into buying real estate that then gets rented out. And this is good, but I think there are some better options where you can see higher rates of return. For example, if you can go out there and find good real estate deals, even if you don't have the money to buy them, there are other real estate investors who do and will pay you if you can bring those opportunities to them. I think one of the very best ways to get in on this really is to actually become a realtor because it gives you a lot more credibility and it gives you an inside scoop on the market. Once you become a realtor, then you can start networking with investors, then go out there and find the deals, and then bring those deals to the investors and profit thousands of dollars for every deal that you find. And then what you can do is you can take a portion of those earnings that you get and you can start investing them in real estate yourself so that you can start earning passive income as you build your real estate investment portfolio. Now, there are a lot of businesses that essentially have the manufacturing business model. They have to spend a lot of money producing producing products before they go out there and can sell them. And what often ends up happening is that after they spent all that money making the products, they end up finding out that there isn't as much demand for the product as they were hoping. So they might end up with a lot of extra product on their hands, or just not being able to sell the product for as much as they were hoping, and then they end up losing a whole bunch of money, and often the business fails. So let's look at a different business model that doesn't require you to invest a whole bunch of money up front and has a much higher success rate. I'm talking about the professional services business model. So here's the basic idea of this business model. First, you learn a skill. Maybe it's plumbing, maybe it's landscaping, maybe it's accounting, maybe it's cleaning houses. Once you have the skill, you can start marketing your services without having to create a product, without having to invest hardly any money into the business. Then, once you get clients, you can start serving them and getting paid. So as you can see, there's very little upfront investment and therefore very little risk. And don't worry that you'll have to keep cleaning houses forever, because as you get more and more clients, you can hire other people to work under you and build an entire firm. When you first start one of these professional services businesses, it can feel a lot like, really, you just got a new job. But over time, it can become a lot more passive, and you can step into the role of business owner. Okay, so now remember, if you want to start a digital product business, make sure you check out Uscreen at gillianperkins.com/Uscreen, because they can make it so easy for you. So now that you've learned about these 5 businesses that have super low failure rates, let's just take a moment to acknowledge that any business can fail. Am I right? Any business can be run into the ground if you don't build it the right way. Well, there are 3 things that you need in order to turn any business into a success. This video right here is going to teach you exactly what those 3 things are. So watch this one next to learn how to turn whatever business you decide to start into a success.